everyone. Welcome to a phenomenal episode of Big Leap. We've been doing this for some time now, and today I would say it's the highlight for me doing this entire series. I'm sitting in the mecca of retail across the country, Krushna Finance, and what can I say? I'm really not equipped enough to say enough about Krushna Finance. All of us who are associated with mutual funds are aware of what Krushna Finance is and what it brings to the table of mutual fund and retail mutual fund sales. I'm extremely excited to be sitting with Mr. Valmiki Khatri.
Thank you, sir.
Before I get into introducing Krushna Finance, a word of introduction from our side. When we started relaunching Mirae Asset in 2011, we went around talking to people. I must tell you, Valmiki, not many people gave us meetings. But this was a counter which not only gave us a meeting, but for, I do not know why, I will probably explain that with you now. You not only selected us, but went on to propagate our schemes with other people in the market. One of the main reasons we are a stronghold amongst IFAs across the country is because of the way Krushna Finance has projected us in the market, and for that we can never thank you enough. So thank you for doing this, and let's get on with the story of Krushna Finance. Let's start at the beginning.
Right.
How did it start? I mean, we are talking about a phenomenal retail house, and how did it start, Valmiki?
Right. So, as you know, Krushna Finance was founded in 1994 by my uncle Sanjay Khatri.
Yes.
You've known him since a long time.
Come to him a little later.
Yes. As you know, he's been a veteran of his own sorts, and it is under his guidance that we were able to grow all this while. So back then, you know, the concept of mutual funds was not known to many, very, very few. It was actually quite backbreaking to talk about mutual funds to people, get them to, you know, start investing. So it was a very, very tedious exercise. It used to take a lot of effort and persuasion for somebody to invest even 2,000 rupees in a mutual fund. The strike rate used to be very low, you know, probably 1 out of 10. But people started, and we had that very strong feeling in us that we have to nurture a sense of savings and investment among every person that we meet. And the idea was to make investing as simple, uncomplicated, and doable as possible. So with that in mind, we started speaking about the concept of mutual funds. And when they got a flavor of it, gradually things started to move. And after almost 25 years, this happens to be a 26th year of operation, we still are predominantly very, very retail in our outlook. And it gives us a very strong sense of elation that we've been able to, channelize small household investments into capital markets through the route of mutual funds. And our clients have been with us, and it's been a fantastic journey all along.
So when it comes to retail, let me put things in perspective. We are talking about over 2 lakh folios in Krushna Finance. When I look at all this business across the country, this is definitely a very unique house because of 2 things, according to me, as somebody who's observed this for over a decade and a half now. One is, of course, the team.
Yes, certainly.
What I see about I can talk about it also, but I leave that to you. The other one is the client sourcing process.
Yes.
These are 2 unique things about Krushna Finance, which I would really like you to elaborate on.
Absolutely. So, as you rightly pointed out, the team is extremely important if we have to reach a particular level in any field as such. Currently, we have a fairly decent sized team, but back then we started with just 2 or 3 people. But over a period of time, we added people and we thought of them as our own family. Today, they end up spending almost 12 to 14 hours with us on a daily basis. So they are like family to us. So we sit together, we eat together. There is a kitchen that we have in our office. There's breakfast, lunch. We're there together, you know, just as how would I be at home. That kind of inculcates a very strong sense of bonding amongst everybody. And we have somehow, even if it's a sales team, we've never, induced them or pushed them that this is sales, you have to work extremely hard. So we've always encouraged our team to set their own targets in life. We've never defined what they should be achieving, but we've only encouraged them to dream higher and bigger. And some of that's worked very, very well for us. Today the team is very, very motivated, and we work together so cohesively that I don't think we do get the kind of obstacles that normally people would. So thankfully, with God's grace, that's been going on well. Secondly, we do have a belief that, like any business, we're supposed to invest continually in it. To this end, we keep on doing a lot of marketing activities. One aspect which has been unique to us is that we used to send, or rather we keep on sending even till date, handwritten postcards to a lot of prospective customers. Now, in this age, people might find handwritten to be very primitive, but that has worked for us. We've reached out to thousands of households in this neighborhood and beyond, and we've encouraged people to come and meet us and save on that front. So that handwritten postcard still continues today. Besides that, we also have other publications, and somehow I would say our major breakthrough came when we got a license for our own newspaper. So that is also aimed at investor education, spreading financial literacy. We want more and more customers to be aware of what personal finance is, and currently we send almost 40,000 newspapers every month to various households, and these are people that we don't know. So we want to meet them, we want to work with them, and we encourage them to save and then invest. And that's been a very, very strong tool for client acquisition, I would say.
I've come here and have had breakfast a number of times.
Yes,
I've watched
had
this
those
entire
occasions.
Process even during the downturns of 2008 and all.
Right.
I have never seen that 40,000 mailers even going down to 39,000.
Yes.
And that's incredible if you ask me. Most of us react to markets. The fact that you've got it consistently going, especially the postcard, is unique, and I commend you for that.
Thank you.
But at the bottom line of everything, you can send a postcard. But what I would really conclude is that if you are handling clients for 26 years, there has to be a basic thought process of what advice goes out to them. Otherwise, they will not be here. And especially in Mumbai, where people are very clear about their money, what is that core advice that has always gone out of Krushna Finance, which has kept this going and growing over the years?
Yes. So that in one simple line, if I have to mention, we've always told our customers, you need to create a second source of income. Now, to that end, there are various ways you can do that, but having an additional source of income is what will let you to be financially free one day. You will be financially independent. So with that in mind, we've always focused on sorting out what goals they have in life, and based on that, we have to cut down their life and then put down small goals which are achievable. So be it house purchase or daughter's marriage. And one of the important aspects has been, say, retirement. We have been very, very strong proponents of saving it for those golden years, and that's very common to all of us. That's one thing that you'll never get a loan for. You have to work towards it. So when we talk about retirement, we talk about having a second source of income. We want them to lead a life which will help them maintain their lifestyle, and we have been harping upon this right since day one. As Warren Buffett says, that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll end up working till you die. So, my entire team chants the same mantra day in and day out. It's very important to inculcate a sense of discipline and patience in them in the quest for wealth creation, and that can only happen with systematic investing and regular investing. So obviously, things like SIP and STP definitely help, but it's the concept that has to be taken on board by the customer, and that's what we help them do.
And all your literature circulates around that whole thing, harping on
Yes.
over 20-25 years is definitely
It does, and I see that going on for the
yeah,
next decades to come.
I am also pretty convinced it will continue.
Yes.
But then Valmiki, you cannot talk about Krushna Finance and not talk about Mr. Sanjay Khatri. I've been extremely fortunate to have known him for such a long time.
Yes.
I feel he's a man who's seen tomorrow. And then, when entry load went, and it was troubling a lot of us, he told me, Swarup, I can sustain this business for my employees and my family for 4 years, even if I don't do business.
True.
Right? So that is the power of what his foresight is and what he's built.
It is.
And a man of his commitment. And man committed to retail. I have not seen
100%.
anybody across the country.
100%.
In your words, I'd like to hear. I can go on about Sanjay Bhai.
Yes.
But I want to hear it from you.
Yes. So as you rightly mentioned, he's been a father figure not just
Correct.
to me but to so many
me
in
too.
our field. It is clearly under his visionary guidance that we've been able to grow from strength to strength, and it just wouldn't have been possible without him. So when he's here and he talks about his vision, he talks about how we as a unit have to help make a difference to our neighborhood, to our country, by contributing our services to the people. I've learned it from him that we are in such a noble profession that today we are the unique ones where we encourage saving and investing rather than spending. So it's only him who made this very clear to me, and with his motivated father figure, as I said, the kind of energy that he has in him, he passes on to that to every person that he meets.
Absolutely.
So every day
it's pretty infectious, actually.
Very infectious, very infectious. Yeah. So every day, be it morning, afternoon, and evening, when I need a dose of adrenaline, I just have to
all
ask
of us.
him. Yeah.
All of us. I include myself in
Yes,
that.
yes.
You've seen the table we used to come and sit whenever I'm in a fix or I'm in a low.
Yes.
This is the place you come, talk to him for half an hour, 40 minutes,
Yes.
and you go back knowing what to do.
What to do, you get energized, and you know that there is another level you have to achieve.
Yeah, you learn
if you
so
have
much.
to become a better version of yourself,
Yes.
I think he can guide you.
Yes, absolutely. And in this changing environment, you obviously faced being a retailer, and so many people say retail is tough to do, or whatever is the commentary that is in the market. How have you seen these changes or the challenges that have always engulfed your business? How have you seen that over the years?
So, sir, over the years, obviously because of various regulatory changes that have come into this industry, our fraternity obviously has adapted to where things have come by. But today, in light of the current regulations, where we see that the industry is definitely growing, but there's going to be a constant pressure on the margins, not just AMCs but also of IFAs alike. So it's going to have a long-term impact on the nature of this business. Today, when we see that if my incomes are coming down year on year, we just have to work harder in order to maintain a set level of income. So there is obviously no choice but to increase volumes.
Okay.
And on that front, I would also like to mention that while the mutual fund industry is probably at an influx stage, it's going to only boom here on. Today, if we also have to grow, given the disruption by technology, by newer business models which are coming in, we can only do that if we are geared up for it, we are motivated enough. Only then we can adapt to the changes.
Absolutely.
And which is the need of the hour, I believe.
Yes. You have to probably unlearn a lot of those practices.
Yes.
Be more open.
Correct.
It's the same thing. Whatever is for you is for us also as
Sure.
AMCs. If we get stuck to the past, my chairman always tells me destroy yesterday. This is probably the way forward.
Yes.
But one last question before, because at this moment what is haunting the entire retail or lot of advisors in the market is that is retail feasible, is it viable in this changing environment of revenue? What would be your advice to all those advisors in the market in this beautiful business of mutual fund?
Right. So on that front, maybe I can mention 3 points which have been very relevant to us. So I would just like to share those. The first is that we need to invest in our own business. We have to market ourselves. We are doing such good work, so let our work get noticed. At least in the neighborhood to begin with, people should know that there is a setup here who's doing this kind of business activity. So we need to put our heart and soul into this business, market it, let people know about it. Creating brand awareness, creating visibility is a very strong aspect of this business. So I think we must focus on that. 2 is that we have been able to reach a particular level with the help of our team. So building a very strong and a robust team, extremely important. Because today an average IFA can probably reach out to maybe 200, at the most 300 families in his individual capacity. Beyond that, it gets very challenging. So unless and until you have a good team in place, back end, sales team, all put together, you will not be able to scale up your business. That's extremely important. Even though it comes at a cost, you have to invest, in your business. Thirdly, I would say it's very important to focus on retail. There are too many people focusing on the business aspect beyond retail, which is HNIs and above. But I think retail is the crux of this entire industry. It's a very, very trust and relationship-based business. So while you have a team at your one place, your idea of increasing your footprint in the retail front is of great importance. Today, if we want our country to be prosperous, we can only do that when people start becoming more and more prosperous. And that's where we have a very strong role and responsibility to help, make a difference. That can happen through retail. And from a pure business point of view, retail is largely underpenetrated. So there's a huge scalable opportunity. We all know that when a retail investor comes in, the money sticks along. And that's extremely important because that will help him achieve his goals and it will help us also stay afloat. So I think that put together, retail makes a very, very strong sense, and I would be very happy if that's the way forward for all of us.
No, really, thank you so much, Valmiki, for letting us do this. For all our viewers, let me tell you, we are talking about 2 lakh folios and put that in perspective. But the other part which I'd like to mention is their office is in Vashi, which is not mainframe Mumbai, okay,
yes.
where people feel is the real money. But to have created this outside Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, just says what if somebody wants to do is a possibility to do anything, yeah?
Yes.
And that's what strikes me, the big guys are in Mumbai, but you sitting here, like you rightly said, I feel Krushna Finance is just getting warmed up. Right. But the takeaway for me always from Krushna Finance is its fearlessness and ability to reinvest into its business.
Sure.
And for that, I look up to you always as a path which we follow at Mirae Asset. Even in bad days, you should be ready to invest. And I'd like to thank Valmiki, you, Sanjay Bhai, and all your team members for allowing us to do this. Right. Wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.